Keinginan bangsa Aceh nak ke tanah lain merdeka, pisah daripada Indonesia. 𝗘𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗚. Tanya bangsa Aceh tetap tertuntut Aceh merdeka, pisah daripada Indonesia. Titik.
Commemorating 16 years of peace treaty. ASNLF buries MoU Helsinki. "16 years following the Helsinki MoU on peace agreement, many Achehnese people have started to forget commemorating the occasion. Even some Achehnese diaspora in Denmark have begun to think it is time to ignore this so-called disaster." This was the main theme of the ceremony commemorating the 16th anniversary of the signing of the Helsinki Agreement by a number of Achehnese from the 𝗓𝗏𝗡𝗏 National Liberation Front, ASNLF, organization representing Denmark on Saturday afternoon, 14 August, 2021. The simple event took place at a house in 𝗓𝗏𝗡𝗏, a small town in Denmark. The number of participants was limited and they were advised to heed health protocols. Several Achehnese families were also there. They made a mini theatre by carrying a shrouded corpse bearing the name of MoU Helsinki. The corpse was then taken on a parade around the house yard while shouting, "Goodbye to MoU" and "MoU is dead," and later was buried.
Keinginan bangsa Aceh nak ke tanah lain merdeka, pisah daripada Indonesia. 𝗘𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏. Tanya bangsa Aceh tetap tertuntut Aceh merdeka, pisah daripada Indonesia. Titik.
A female ASNLF activists came forward to explain the idea and reason behind the theatrical performance in English. The oration was that Achehnese seems to have forgotten about long continuous conflicts with Indonesia that had occurred before. "We are no stranger to the deception and misapplication of the contents of the agreement by the Indonesian government toward Achehnese. To be precise, the central government, Jakarta, has not established any human rights court hitherto. However, oddly enough, the CMI mediators and the sponsors of the peace treaty, such as the European Union, rather shy away from taking the responsibilities and tend to be pragmatic. This shows the so-called trait of some European nations as colonizers in the Malay archipelagos. They gave examples of gross human rights violations committed by the Indonesian army, such as abusive manners towards civilians, taking women as hostage, and coercing them to surrender or at least deliberately rendering them passive on being vocal for speaking out about justice for Achehnese. More specifically, the female ASNLF activists also criticized the settling of the decades-old conflict that only took 5 meetings in Helsinki, and the decision seemed cursorily made, including the confiscation and removal of weapons without proper justice. The orator even reproached the intermediaries for being rather partial from the start and later became obvious for choosing Indonesia's side. Therefore, she explained that 16 years is more than enough for Achehnese to forget the MoU agreement and close down all discussions related to it. The following is the complete oration, which has also been broadcast live from Denmark before via social media.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The catastrophe day of August 15, 2005. To my respectful people of Aceh around the world and wherever you are. To mark the occasion on this day, we would like to first convey our introductory remarks to remember the historic catastrophe of August 15, 2005 will be in various languages so it can be understood by all, especially about the struggle and the journey to freedom. On August 15, 2005, which was 16 years ago, to the day an agreement was signed in Helsinki to end a long conflict of war in Aceh. However, it was during this day that we as Achehnese were neglected and forgotten in the conflicts, especially against the Indonesian, whom we already had an untrustworthy experience. Our enemy Indonesia continuously displayed a phony sweet face in front of our humanitarian reasons, when in fact, at the same time in various cases, they were as ignorant as the Jahil during the Prophet's struggle, especially in their military conquest when it comes to issue of the terms and agreement that must be kept and promised. In the case of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the Quraysh searched for the Prophet in his house to kill him, but instead they found Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu in the Prophet's bed. Upon seeing Sayyidina Ali, the Quraysh changed their manners by being sweet and loving towards Ali. But we all know that this is a rush displayed at Ali, because their target was to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. It is this same cunning and preposterous display of affection that shown towards the people of Aceh by the Indonesian to continue their mischievous agenda of destroying the people of Aceh. However, compare this with the case of the Aceh conflict during the Dome and military emergency. What did the Indonesian military do to the families of previous Aceh Merdeka fighters? The family of Achehnese fighters were held hostages and then used as shields in order to get our warrior to surrender themselves. In such case, who is far more ruthless? Who is far more evil? Hear this out, Achehnese people, out there or wherever you are. Above all, from the various experiences that has happened to Aceh, it is not wise to make decisions quickly and drastically in resolving this decades-old conflict. The complex solution of this Achehnese conflict must be resolved gradually in a democratic manner. It will take time, and we will not be able to solve this issue just by simply having meeting umpteen of time in such case of MoU Helsinki. It is going to take more effort and urgency. We also need people who care about solving the problem, because how can we solve problem if even the mediator themselves were not neutral and clearly siding with the Indonesians? And we are not in our rights to have a fair chance to tell our side of the story and demand. Therefore, once again, 16 years is just more than enough to open the eyes of the people of Aceh, wherever they are. It is enough that we have been continuously being deceived by Indonesia close all conversations about MoU Helsinki. Today, now, from Denmark, as a milestone, we bury the name of the MoU Helsinki and its descendants named 𝗓𝗲𝗡𝗢𝗢, also known as 𝗓𝗏𝗗𝗡𝗢𝗢 Acheh, forever. MoU Helsinki, rest in peace, with the flesh of 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗡, who also had the same fate. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yang kumpul 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗡𝗢 selaku anak bangsa Timang Nasi Mandum masih komunitas dunia.
Following the oration by a female ASNLF activists, Nazir Osman, as one of the ASNLF executives, explained why they hold this unique occasion as follows.
Kalau kita lihat realita perjalanan MoU Helsinki selama 16 tahun sudah, MoU Helsinki ini jelas-jelas tidak menguntungkan bangsa Aceh. Di mana seperti kita ketahui, MoU Helsinki ini adalah sebuah nota kesepahaman. Artinya nota ini tidak mengikat secara hukum. Kita lihat setelah MoU Helsinki lahir, perjuangan Aceh Merdeka yang sudah mendapat tempat di kancah politik dunia itu jatuh kembali ke nol. Itu yang pertama. Dan setelah MoU Helsinki, Aceh semakin tidak menentu. Kemudian masalah pelanggaran HAM. Kalau kita lihat setelah 16 tahun MoU Helsinki, ribuan bangsa Aceh yang korban waktu konflik, yang dibunuh oleh serdadu Indonesia sampai hari ini tidak diproses secara hukum satupun. Artinya mereka setelah membunuh bangsa Aceh, mereka cuci tangan dan pergi begitu saja. Dalam segi perjuangan dengan lahir MoU, jelas-jelas bangsa Aceh sangat-sangat dirugikan. Karena kenapa? Dengan lahir MoU, perjuangan kemerdekaan Aceh itu hancur. Padahal cita-cita bangsa Aceh bukan mendapatkan otonomi khusus dan bukan mendapatkan parlo. 30 tahun lebih bangsa Aceh duduk dalam perang dengan menguraikan air mata, darah, bahkan mengorbankan nyawa. Cuma satu cita-citanya, yaitu lepas daripada Indonesia.
Right on the same day, at an online discussion attended by 𝗓𝗏𝗘𝗡𝗢𝗢, as one of the Free Achehnese movement's negotiators, said that the Helsinki MoU is dead and implicitly does not function any longer.
Bagi saya sebenarnya ini MoU ini praktis sudah mati, ya, tidak ada lagi. Jadi saya ingin menantang siapa saja untuk menyebutkan, ya, mana ketentuan MoU yang hari ini masih bisa dijalankan. Kita lihat bahwanya PP nomor 3 2015. Itu nomenklaturnya wewenang itu tentang wewenang nasional, bersifat nasional di Aceh. Itu nomenklaturnya dari A ke AA, AB, AC sampai FF. Tidak ada satupun aktivitas hidup yang tidak bersifat nasional. Mau keluarga berencana, ini, mau itu, apa saja, itu sudah yang lain-lainnya, ya. Apalagi kalau bapak-bapak kita di dinas selalu, kalau dalam saya itu, yang dijalankan adalah regulasi, ya. Dan inilah, nah kita lihat sebagai contoh terakhir, bahkan begitu besar kekuasaan dan campur tangan pusat. Ya, saya tidak bicara untuk wilayah-wilayah lain, tapi khusus untuk Aceh, seperti satu Muharram pun bisa digeser. Nah, kalau kita jangan masuk ke ranah agama dulu, tapi dari segi MoU dulu. Dalam MoU itu ada 6 di bawah pemerintah pusat. Salah satunya adalah kebebasan beragama. Bukan agama, ya. Kebebasan agama maksudnya, kalau umpamanya Aceh, kita mau menindas orang non-muslim, nah itu pemerintah pusat bisa turun, nah itu tidak boleh, ya. Atau kita mau melarang orang non-muslim masuk Aceh, Sedangkan dari undang-undang boleh, itu pemerintah pusat boleh campur. Tetapi administrasi agama, soal naik haji, soal zakat, soal ini, soal itu hak Aceh penuh. Nah, tetapi yang kita lihat bukti sekarang, kalau sampai ke situ pemerintah sudah intervensi, ya yang lain apa? Dan saya juga melihat tidak ada protes yang bermakna daripada pihak kita di Aceh sendiri ya. Jadi mungkin bagi saya ini, ya makanya itu salah satu sebab yang membuat saya capek ya. Kita hanya waktu kampanye, wah semua MoU, untuk kampanye pemilu atau pilkada. Setahun sekali mau merayakan, kita semua keluar merayakan. Apa yang kita rayakan? Ya, MoU itu bagi saya tidak ada lagi. Coba, saya ingin menantang lah katakan ya. Seseorang mengatakan mana poin MoU yang sekarang masih berjalan tanpa diintervensi oleh pusat. Terima kasih, itu saja dari saya. Singkat supaya kawan-kawan lebih banyak waktu untuk bertanya. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
𝗓𝗏𝗄𝗡𝗢 TV crew, vlogger Achehnese in Sweden, reported from Denmark.